Story number 1. The Last Shift at St. Agnes. Rain lashed against the cracked windows of St. Agnes Hospital in Wilmington, Delaware. The old building groaned as though protesting the storm, its brick walls soaked and cold. Locals avoided the hospital at night. Whispers about strange disappearances and the so-called haunted West Wing had long circulated. Tonight, however, Nurse Emily Carter, 28, was walking those very halls alone. She had just been reassigned to the night shift due to staffing shortages. Her small apartment in Willow Creek felt a world away, and the idea of spending the night here was unsettling. Yet she told herself she could handle it. Emily's footsteps echoed eerily in the dim corridor, her shoes squeaking faintly against the worn linoleum. She carried a clipboard, checking the charts of patients still under care. Most of the hospital seemed deserted, the fluorescent lights flickering above like hesitant eyes. She reached the West Wing, which had been closed for over a decade after several mysterious deaths and disappearances. Her heart rate quickened. The air here smelled stale, mixed with the faint odor of antiseptic and rot. A chart listed a new patient, Mr. Harold Green, 67, admitted under urgent care for severe pneumonia. The room assigned was 217, one Emily recognized from whispered tales among the old staff. Room 217 had been sealed for years, locked after a string of unexplained incidents, yet the chart insisted he was inside. Emily felt a shiver travel down her spine. As she approached the door, it creaked open slightly, though she hadn't touched it. A draft brushed against her neck, sharp and cold. The lights flickered again. Inside, the room appeared empty, except for a single chair facing the window, which rattled in the wind. Then she heard it, a soft, breathy whisper. "Don't look behind you." She froze, glancing around. No one was there. Shaking her head, Emily stepped inside. The air was heavier here, suffocating. The window reflected her pale face, but then she noticed something impossible. Behind her, a shadowy figure in an old nurse's uniform. Its eyes were black voids, its face twisted in sorrow and malice. Emily spun around. Nothing. Only the cold, empty room stared back. Minutes passed, each second stretching into eternity. Then she noticed the chair slowly rocking as if pushed by unseen hands. The whispering grew louder, multiple voices overlapping, pleading, crying, accusing. She backed away toward the door, her hands trembling, when a sudden loud slam made her jump. Something had banged against the far wall. Desperate to understand, Emily checked the room for signs of life. The bed was empty, yet a small folded note lay on the floor. Her hands shook as she unfolded it. "You shouldn't have come," written in an almost familiar scrawl. Her heart raced. She wanted to leave, but the door was gone. The hallway had vanished, replaced by a black void. Panic clawed at her chest. Suddenly, she felt it, a cold hand resting on her shoulder. She turned violently, but again, nothing. Her breathing came in shallow, ragged gasps. Then from the darkness, a whisper, "Emily, Emily Carter, join us." The voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. Shadows moved across the walls, forming twisted human shapes. Some reached for her, others wailed in silent agony. Emily stumbled backward and tripped over the chair. Her phone fell, screen lighting up automatically. Photos appeared, Hundreds of them, showing hospital staff from decades past, their eyes scratched out, faces frozen in terror. Her own image appeared in the last photo, lying unconscious in the room. Emily screamed, but no sound emerged. Hours seemed to pass, time lost all meaning. The shadows pressed closer, whispering, begging her to stay. Emily noticed a wall plaque, dusty and barely legible. West Wing, closed 2010. Yet the chart on her clipboard was dated today. How could this be? How could room 217 exist again? In the corner, a small battered journal lay on the floor. Curious, despite herself, Emily picked it up. It belonged to a nurse named Clara Whitman, who had worked here 50 years ago. Clara wrote of patients who disappeared, of strange shadows that mimicked human voices, of a figure in white that collected souls. One entry made Emily gasp. Room 217 is alive. It watches. It waits for the next nurse to come. The lights flickered violently. Emily felt herself being pulled toward the window. Through the rain-streaked glass, she saw the hospital grounds below, empty, yet something was moving across the lawn. Shadows, shaped like former patients, walking aimlessly, their faces twisted in silent screams. She blinked. When she looked again, they were gone. Suddenly, the temperature dropped further. Her breath formed mist in the cold air. Emily's mind raced. How could she survive this? She remembered the stories from the old nurses. Never look directly at the figure, never speak its name. But the whispers were insistent. Emily, stay, forever. Her eyes darted around the room, seeking escape. She noticed the chair again. Something inside her compelled her to sit, though every instinct screamed against it. As soon as she touched the seat, the room shifted violently. Walls stretched and twisted. The ceiling seemed to descend. Shadows swirled, and the whispers became a deafening chorus. Emily screamed again. She felt herself being lifted off her feet, pulled into darkness. Her body moved against her will. She tried to resist, but the shadows were too strong, too hungry. In that moment, she understood the horrifying truth. Room 217 was not just a room. It was alive, sentient, and it fed on fear. Then, a voice, softer this time, cut through the chaos. Emily, you are the next nurse. She struggled, but it was too late. Her consciousness blurred, and she felt herself changing. Her reflection in the window now smiled at her, though she hadn't moved her lips. A cold smile, empty and cruel. Morning came. The storm cleared. St. Agnes Hospital appeared normal again, as though nothing had happened. Staff arrived for the day shift, none daring to enter the West Wing. Room 217 remained locked, its door unmarked, except for a faint, wet handprint on the glass. Emily's apartment was found empty. No note, no sign of struggle. Only her phone remained, sitting on the counter. A single notification flashed. A photo of her, smiling, in the old nurse's uniform, standing in room 217. Below it, the message, "Welcome to your last shift." From that day on, staff whispered of a new presence in the West Wing. Sometimes, at night, a figure could be seen moving past the windows, a nurse who looked eerily familiar. And anyone unfortunate enough to hear her voice reported hearing soft whispers, "Emily, come, stay with us, forever." Over the years, room 217 claimed more souls, each one trapped as shadows in the corners, whispering in agony, waiting for the next nurse to join their endless, horrifying shift. St. Agnes Hospital became a place avoided at all costs, a monument to fear, where the West Wing thrived on terror and time itself seemed powerless. Story number 2, Whispers in Ward B. The city of Springfield, Illinois had a hospital no one willingly visited after sunset, Ravenswood Medical Center. Its modern facade concealed a history of darkness with abandoned wings that had witnessed decades of tragedies, unexplained deaths, and whispered rumors of spirits lingering in the corridors. Nurse Rachel Bennett, 32, had been assigned to the newly reopened Ward B, a section closed for nearly 15 years after a series of mysterious patient disappearances.